Hello everybody. We've got 3 lands, which doesn't mean squat because I've gone through a couple of rounds today where I had started with 3 rounds and they gave me no lands for 7 turns. So it's been that kind of day on Magic the Gathering the Arena. But welcome, we're in the historic format. And let's see, what do we want to do for lands? We've already got the 2 red mana that we need. So let's do that. And we'll be set. And we do have some newer cards, right? There's the Streets of New Capenna card, so does that mean that they brought the green-white Selesnya over into historic? Maybe, maybe not. They've got 3 colors already. Let's go ahead and put out the Ill-Tempered Loner. And he's the reason I came to Historic, because I wanted to pair him with the Brash Taunter. Ah, Fragment Reality. Random card with lesser value, and he's got a second cheap spell to get rid of that one. Okay. In that case, let's see. Let's go ahead and put out Embrose. And they scoop. Okay. You know what? You managed to use 2 mana to take out 2 different threats on your first round, and then you just leave. All right. Well, maybe we'll get a chance to show you the deck. We've got Ill-Tempered Loner and Brash Taunter. Those are our stars. Let me go out and show you the entire deck. For the new people, we've got a lot of new subscribers lately, so thanks for coming on board. I'm Travis. I'm your constant host here at Tpull's Corner. If you need to type it in for a friend, there is an apostrophe S. Makes it harder for the riffraff to find us, but the MTG fans are cool, and they're not put off by a simple apostrophe. All right, so basically what inspired me was we had a big September rotation. We lost a lot of decks that used to be good in Modern Standard. I converted them over to Historic, and they were doing well. Surprised the heck out of me. So I kept them all. So I've got a big deck list. When I saw Ill-Tempered Loner, it reminded me of Brash Taunter because they operate a little bit similarly. So for those of you who've been around for a year or two, from Innistrad, Ill-Tempered Loner, he's a rare card. When he's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. When it turns nighttime, then whenever any permanent you control is dealt damage, Howlpack Avenger deals damage to any target. So if I've got, like a Shiley who's a 1/1 out, and somebody deals Shiley 10 points of damage, and it's nighttime, the Howlpack Avenger is going to deal 10 points of damage to somebody. And it could be the creatures, it could be planeswalkers, it could be the opponent's face, whatever. Slightly older is Brash Taunter. He's Indestructible Goblin for 1/1. Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent only. But he does have the ability to fight a target creature by spending 3 mana and then tapping. So when I saw Loner, I thought of Brash Taunter, and I thought they would make for a great team-up. I only have 2 copies of Loner. I have 4 copies of Brash Taunter, but I kept getting 3 copies of Brash Taunter in my hand and not being able to cast it way too often. So, I'd get stuck at 4 land and land starved, and I'd have 3 Brash Taunters in my hand. So even though that was the idea of the deck, I had to cut down on one of my 5 drops. What's in the rest of the deck? We have 4 copies of Grisly Sigil. It's from New Capenna. It's a sorcery. You deal 1 point of damage to a creature, basically, or a planeswalker, and you get 1 life. But if you can casualty, use that mechanic where you sacrifice another creature, all it has to have is power 1 or greater. Then you can do 3 points of damage, and you gain 3 life with the copy of it, right? Because casualty mechanic creates a copy. So the 1 damage that the first copy of Grisly Sigil does is non-combat damage. So you can actually, if you casualty it, you can kill a creature with toughness of 4. Also, you could use it on Brash Taunter. If you do 3 damage to Brash Taunter, that does 3 damage to the opponent's face, and you still gain the 3 life. So what do we have to sacrifice? Not that much. We've got Legamo's Hand of Hatred, 1 copy. We get to create these token elemental creatures with trample and haste. You sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. So maybe you could get through an attack with them if you don't think they're going to survive to attack. Maybe you just want to sacrifice the token and use it to trigger the casualty 1. We've got one potential white mana source, but we're not planning to ever cast Shyly because we're here with 2 copies of Embrose, Dean of Shadow from the Strixhaven expansion. We want to put a counter on another target and then deal 2 damage to it. There's multiple ways this can be used. We could use it, we're worried about -1/-1 counters on Brash Taunter, so we could add a counter to him, we deal 2 damage, that 2 damage goes to the opponent's face, and he becomes a 2/2 creature. Lovely. We could do it to Ill-Tempered Loner, he becomes a 4/4, that 2 damage that Embrose dealt can be dealt to any target, so we can take out enemy creatures that are 2/2 right there. If we want to, say we don't have either one of these out, we just have Embrose, we can tap him. We could take a 1/1 creature the opponent has, put a +1 counter on him, make it a 2/2, and then we deal 2 damage, so we can kill his 1/1s just with Embrose. So we can kill 1/1s with a combo, we can kill 2/2s, or with Rune of Mortality placed on Dean, we can kill everybody with Death Touch. So tap, and it's basically like a Royal Assassin from Alpha, right? You just tap them and you destroy target creature that way. You could put Rune of Mortality on Brash Taunter as well. When you have him fight another creature, that's Death Touch. You could always put it on Loner as well. We have Rush of Vitality, 1 copy. It gains, target creature gains lifelink and indestructible. I did a deck for Modern Standard not too long ago. It was red and white deck where Ill-Tempered Loner was the centerpiece. And there's a combo trick where if you give him lifelink and indestructible and he gets hit with damage, you can, remember, he deals that much damage to any target. You make him the target. You just keep hitting himself over and over, and since it's indestructible for the moment, you don't destroy the creature, but since it's lifelink, that damage just bumps up your life. So this is a way to get, so basically it's almost infinite life gain, right? It just depends on if you time out or get tired. To break the chain, you eventually, say you were dealing 4 points of damage each time, you would then, to close it out, you just deal 4 points of damage to a creature or the opponent's face. I didn't want to make the entire deck about that because I've already done that, but it's hard to ignore the being aware of that combo. So I've already played a match where this saved me and turned the entire game around by being able to do that. We have Dreadhorde Butcher, 1 copy. It's a zombie warrior with haste, 1/1. You deal damage to a player or planeswalker and he gets +1/+1 counter. When it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Sound familiar? So it fits the theme. He's an Ill-Tempered Loner when he dies. So the Butcher becomes an Ill-Tempered Loner. We have 3 Croxes to make them discard, and we can bring that back from the graveyard if we have 5 other cards in our graveyard. The escape cost is we exile that many cards, but we have to have 2 black and 2 red mana to do it. We have Shakedown Heavy, 6/4. The opponent can stop taking 6 points of damage. It's their choice. If they do, we get to untap Shakedown Heavy and we get to draw a card. We have 1 Path of Peril, and this is why we have Uncharted Haven, so that we can get 1 white mana source. We're not counting on it, but it's good to have that flexibility. So otherwise, we're just looking to get rid of the swarm creatures with mana value 2 or less. We also have Hitagetsu Consumes All, which destroys each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. And we can exile the graveyards, which we've got to be careful about because we want to use our graveyard a lot. And then we get Vessel of the All-Consuming, a 3/3 Trampler that also has an alternate win condition. And if we have Embrose out, we can pump him up and give him +1 counters with Embrose. So that's kind of cool. The reason we don't mind having Kroxa, actually the reason why we have big creatures like Kroxa and Shakedown Heavy with power 6 is because we have 4 copies of Corpse Explosion. You exile a creature card from your graveyard. Corpse Explosion deals damage equal to the exiled card's power to each creature and each planeswalker. So if Brash Taunter's out, and we exile a Kroxa with Corpse Explosion, that's 6 damage to all the creatures, and then 6 damage to Brash Taunter, who's indestructible, which means 6 damage to the opponent's face. If we have, say, both of the Ill-Tempered Loners out and Halpak Avenger, it's nighttime, and we have Brash Taunter, that's going to trigger 6 times. It's going to trigger once for each Halpak Avenger, it's going to trigger once for the Brash Taunter's ability, and then maybe it's just going to trigger 5 times. It's going to trigger once again for Halpak on Brash Taunter and the second Halpak on Brash Taunter. So I've had that where, 6 points of damage, it triggers 5 times, and you do 30 points of damage in one shot. It can be, pardon the pun, quite explosive. Okay, then we have all the big drops. which it's misleading. Let me show you the average mana value. It's 3.8. We've got the normal number of lands, 24, hovering around 18 creatures, which is about normal for my decks. Sometimes I go down to 16 or 15 or 14. But the 3.8 is misleading because Shadow Immortality, we have 2 copies, and we are not going to cast those for 15 mana, right? If we take 13 points of damage and our life is down to 7, they only cost 2 black, and that happens a lot. We have 1 Void Beckoner, which we are not going to hard cast. We're going to cycle it so we can put Death Touch on Embrose or the Taunter or the Loner. We might hard cast these if we have them. Inferno of the Star Mounts, that's we are vulnerable to flight, right? Flying opponents. So this is our 1 keepsake savior against blue control spells as well. Flying and haste. Burning Rune Demon, often we get to hardcast this, so we can search our library for 2 cards. We're usually searching for Void Beckoner and anything else that we might think we need, because the opponent almost always throws Void Beckoner in the graveyard, which is what we want to power Corpse Explosion, and they learn too late that they were doing exactly what we wanted. And we do also have 1 Illicit Shipment, so if we want a particular combo, if we want Rush to Vitality to pair with the Loner, we want Rune Immortality to pair with Embrose, we want Embrose and the Taunter, whatever 2 cards we want. If we have 1, we can go get the second one. And that's mostly it, I think. We have 1 E2 Extinction to exile at instant speed. And let's see if we can have a longer match. Usually, if just for the newer players' benefit, usually I'll put up the deck, I'll try and demonstrate it first before I explain it, and do the deck tech. And oftentimes they're very fast, quick first matches that we win, surprisingly. And then for our second one, we get thumped soundly. Here's a 240 card deck. And let's go ahead and put out the black mana source first. We do have a 2 mana source that we can do, so... Oops, not that one. This one. It's always amazing how these massive decks, they include 100 lands, so they never seem to have land problems themselves. We're sort of looking like almost like a mono-red aggro deck. Let's see if they have counterspells or not. A flash, okay. You gonna go after the Dreadhorde Butcher? No, he doesn't. Is he going to have another flash? What if we exile you? Ill-Tempered Loner will take. And then we don't attack with Legamos in case he has another flash creature. And he does nothing. And we go again. What in the world is going on? Do I put down the Ill-Tempered Loner, or no, let's not. Don't need to. Okay. We just won 2 in a row. With basically 2 creatures. Which is lovely, but that wasn't the point of the deck. They didn't really have a lot of mana problems either. They had 4 mana. That's a very poor showing for a deck that has almost 250 cards. We did one recently. Did pretty good. Did better than that. Pink Samurais. Pink Neon. Neon Dynasty. Alright, I don't really have a 1 mana, so we can play that as tapped. That's fine. Let's see if we get land starved or not. Where's our 1 mana drops to get rid of that guy? No 1 mana drops. Thanks a lot. This is a mono black swarm deck. I guess we'll make that white. And maybe we toss something away with big score if we need to. Not really what we were looking for, so we'll have to use Corpse Explosion. I was hoping that would be a creature. Oh, there we go. There's a creature. Okay, this is still going to hurt us. But we'll get to clear the board of 4 creatures. If we ever get a turn. Usually you don't stop and pause like that when you're winning so well. We exile that, do 7 points of damage, take 4 points from the Serrated Scorpions. And then we put out our own Shadow of Mortality, our second one. And we need to find some life gain, don't we? He's got 3 creatures. Nice. That is a swarm deck, isn't it? Okay, let's go ahead and put out you. And that's all we'll do. Another Prying Blade. All right. What do we want to do here? Auto pay with the treasure. Get rid of you. And go ahead and tap you. Death Touch. No attacks. He does not attack. Two damage to the opponent's face. No attacks. We have 3 blockers. He uses Great Treasure, that's good. Another Serrated Scorpion. Okay. Corpse Explosion is not valid because we still don't have anybody else in the graveyard. That's the last Serrated Scorpion, right? Usually if you say good game, it's because they have something that they can use against you. Okay, so we need a get out of jail free card. We can't fight. We don't have enough mana. We have to tap and do 2 points of damage to him, and we get 2 life gain. And we have to manually click each time. And my opponent's going to see that we're going to do this as long as we need to until we don't worry about health anymore. So he said good game to me twice. We're really just waiting for them to scoop. You guys can fast forward. I'll stop at like 100. $80's enough. 82. No tax. We have to sacrifice a creature. Excellent. What do we want to do now? They're digging. Let's see. Target a player. Let's go ahead and get rid of Shambling Ghast. Put the Hellpack Avenger, and then the other 3 goes up straight to their face, so the 3-point life gain is a wash. And then we can go and go attack somebody else. we can take you out with Alpaca Avenger and Brash Taunter. And then we do nothing and let the Ill-Tempered Loner switch back to the Alpaca Avenger. And we can repeat the process all over again. Stick as many prying blades as you want on things. None of these guys will help you do anything. Down to 6. 24 cards left. Half of his land is out. And let's go ahead and fight somebody. I'm going to fight the Alpaca Avenger. Yep. That's how the deck works. We got Embrose out with Brash Taunter and Alpaca Avenger. So it doesn't get any better than that. We're going to play one more just to press our luck anyway. Because we're having fun. That's what we do. Revenge always feels extra sweet when they say good game twice in a row, thinking they have you, and you just silently keep on playing. Because you know you've got a chance. Gotta get this. This is good. I like that. Gruesome. So in case you sped through, remember to like the video if you haven't liked the video yet. And if you're not a subscriber yet, hit subscribe and you get notified when we put out new videos. And when I say we, I'm using the royal we because it's a one-man show. That's why there's no editing. Get a full-time day job and family. This is done like in the wee hours before the reset. Technically, I'm up past my own bedtime by then. Gruesome realization. Okay. Took them a long time to figure out what they wanted to do. Soul Warden. Okay. And we are not going to be given our 1-drops. We got so much land already. That's an upkeep, right? Okay, so let's go get a swamp. And let's attack. destroyed my creature. How dare you? Okay. I feel like we can afford to be patient. They've only got one creature out this whole time. This isn't the normal mono-white life gain deck. This is white-black. We've got some removal.
When evil arises, I will be there to confront it. We must regroup.
I don't need more land.
A pure soul can inspire others.
Corpse Explosion. We'll use Ill-Tempered Loner. We'll go in for an attack. They're at 27. You can afford to take 6 points of damage, can't you? Yeah, you can. Alright. End the turn. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's gonna take 6 points of damage? Let's give him Death Touch. Let's get rid of everybody. Discard one of your cards. That is not going to be enough. That is not going to be enough for you. Lifelink and Indestructible. Grisly Sigil. Oh, hang on. Grisly Sigil with a sacrifice. Target you for 1. Sacrifice you for the copy. I did that backwards. Yeah, well. Let's get another card draw. Alright. Next. Take action. What do we want? We want Embrose and we want Brash Taunter. We'll take one or the other. Let's just have Brash Taunter. Okay. Nice. Also nice. And we are flooding out with land. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. It's time. Really? Really, Magic? Yep, we're giving up a 6/6 to get rid of Soul Ward. Oh, were they all 2s? They were all 2 or less. Okay. I wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, but you're tapped out, aren't you? So, we fly over here. We hit you for that. Then we fight you. Nine points of damage to the face. Then Corpse Explosion. Get rid of Croxa, 6 more points. Hits the Brash Taunter, automatically goes to Ivan's face. Do we care that we killed our own 6/6 demon? Do we care that we sacrificed our own Croxa? We do not. They are all tools at our disposal. And I think that's a good way to end it and show you all the neat ins and outs and tricks and tactics. It's a fun deck. And I'm at 100 decks again, and I've got to get rid of one. And I find myself enjoying this one a lot. I don't know if I can bring myself to delete it. I'll export it, of course, so it'll be saved. It won't be deleted forever. I'm just saying I'm kind of having fun playing with it right now. It sounds dirty, but it's not. It's just Magic the Gathering. So remember, 4 copies I found to be too much for Brash Taunter. Maybe we could do 3 and 3 if you have more copies of Ill-Tempered Loner. The Corpse Explosion worked great with the concept. Crocs, I thought, and Shakedown Heavy are really good choices. And you don't need to go too much into getting tokens for Grizzly Sigil. You can really sacrifice any one of them when you get a chance. We do still have the weaknesses of, like, you know, if they're all flyers, we're in trouble, or if they're too fast, we're in trouble, or we could get milled out. That's still eminently possible. And we don't have anything to deal with enchantments or a massive number of artifacts that gang up on us. So all of those normal things. This is kind of why we're not playing ranked, right? We didn't account for any one of half a dozen different factors. I'm just taking some newer cards, putting them into the historic venue, and just trying to create a new deck that we haven't seen before, that we haven't seen anybody do. And that way, when we go into historic, if we're facing all the normal stuff that us long-timers have seen, like elves and goblins and, you know, life gain decks and all that kind of stuff, it's a little something else you can take in there, and you can actually have a chance at winning against them with. Even if, you know, we could even win against this with things like Ulamog and Ugin sometimes. So let me know what you do different. Leave a comment. Let me know if you like it. If you do like it, hit the like button, and we'll leave it there. This is Travis signing off for Tpull's Corner. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.